if they can't smell the product. Okay. Some of the scents, nail polish remover girls, acetaldehyde is one of the flavours that we have, and it smells just like that. I've mentioned about the fatty acids. There's burnt toast, rancid butter, smelly socks. We have all these different flavours that we physically have to smell and taste. Okay, some are nice, some aren't. And we always compare a controlled beer. Controlled beer is a perfect beer, and then what they might do is they might dose it with, say, the nail polish remover. So they might give you 2 glasses of that. So they'll give you 3 glasses at one time when we're physically tasting. 1 is a control beer, or 2 might be a control beer. You have to determine which is which. Okay, and they've got numbers on the glasses. So, and we also do degree of difference. Tooheys will make Tooheys extra dry. 4X Brewery makes Tooheys extra dry. The Swan Brewery makes Tooheys extra dry. So out of those 3 Tooheys extra dry, we have to determine if there's any difference, degree of difference. Okay? You have certain leeway, because if the Swan Brewery produce a Tooheys extra dry that tastes totally different to the other breweries, well, obviously. Okay? Any questions down on this side? Any volunteers for tastings?
I don't know, what determines different types of beers? Because you make all the worst in the same spot, right?
Yes.
So all the beers get made, the worst starts out there.
Yes.
And then what determines what? Is it just the recipes you use?
It's exactly the same recipe as, you know, the 5 basic ingredients.
Yeah.
They just determine what type of hops they may use.
Okay.
Pride of Ringwood. There's hop brands that will give you the real bitterness flavours, and there's also hops that will give you the aromas of it. Unfortunately, I didn't have any samples there, but the really nice fresh hops, which is aromatic, give you the nice, freshly spring peeling Granny Smith apple, peeling an apple, that type of smell. Some is quite florally, like gardenias or jasmine type of smell. And then of course there's hops that gives you the bitterness, but the smell isn't so nice. It's quite pungent and quite, you know, on the nose, but it just gives you that bitter flavours. When you see the ad saying it's been double hopped, if it isn't for the bitterness, it's actually 1 for the aromas and 1 for the bittering agent. Pride of Ringwood, SARS hops. European uses SARS hops for the Pilsner brands of beer. And Hersbrucker, that's the main one that we normally use. The ingredients, I forgot to mention about, the barley grain is Western Australian grown. Water is from, of course, nearby catchment. The sugar is just cane sugar from Queensland. They transport it to CSR, they liquefy it for us, so we only use it as a liquid form of sugar. And the hops comes from Tasmania, Victoria, and SARS hops from Europe. And the yeast is a Swan strain of yeast. We had over 100 years. Sent to Copenhagen in Denmark and Europe. They culture the yeast, meaning they grow the yeast for us. Send it back to us freeze-dried every 6 months. Okay? And then what we do is we put it into a small little vessel, looks like a little baby keg, and we grow it. Once that's big enough, we put it into another bigger tank, grow it some more until we have enough to make a batch. Okay? If you wanted to sabotage the brewery and close this down, you won't hit the hops, you won't hit the grains, you won't hit the water, but the yeast.
Between what time is the hops kind of harvested to where by the time it gets into the, the big processing of it all?
The hop cones are picked in Tasmania, Victoria, because they only grow in the colder climates anyway. They produce these little hop cones, and of course there's obviously a factory that converts the hops into pellet form that we use here. The beers that are packaged in the dark green, the dark brown bottles, we use the hop pellets. The beers that are produced in the clear glass bottles, we use a hop extract. If the sunlight hits the beer that should be in a dark bottle and we've got it in a clear bottle, it basically deteriorates the flavour of the beer. Okay? So that's why we have to protect it from the sunlight. Light struck, beers taste like if you put a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce in your glass of beer smells and tastes just like that. That's called light struck. Yeah? When you sit in the beer garden, middle of summer, and if you have your jug of beer sitting out there in the sun, after a few minutes you'll start, you should start noticing the flavour will start to change. Light struck beers, it gets a bit smellier, the taste isn't that great. Yeah? Not that it should last that long. Right, any questions at this stage?